Hey guys, Ron here, and Pokémon characters have become more and more relevant as the franchise grows, with social media, games like Pokémon Masters, and the selection of Pokémon characters becoming more diverse. There seems to be a character for everyone to fall in love with, so I asked my viewers which Pokémon characters were their favorites. I've done poll videos on starter Pokémon, legendary Pokémon, and now Pokémon characters. I posted this poll on my community tab and Twitter, so make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter to know when the next poll video comes out, and watch the previous two if you haven't already. To be clear, I only included characters in the main series of Pokémon, or else this poll would be unnecessarily huge. For the same reason, the characters were split up into categories, because if they weren't, it would just be a list of hundreds of Pokémon characters to sift through. And to be super transparent, my audience seems to be 70% male, which is actually more females than the average PokeTubers audience, but still that does seem to factor into some of the results. I also left out the player characters from this poll, but included even the most obscure characters like Curtis and Yancey. Remember them? No? Well, they had names and dialogue, and those are the only two criteria to be here. Let us begin with the most important question. How do you even feel about Pokemon characters? What's the entire point of this poll if Pokemon characters don't occupy the minds of my audience? Fortunately, a vast majority look at them positively, with only 5% not caring about them, and nobody explicitly hating them. Each category of Pokemon character has different criteria and roles to fill. We'll begin with the first character we meet in most Pokemon games, the Professor. What do you guys look for in a main game Professor? It seems personality is the most important. Who cares if they are good in battle or have an interesting gimmick? They should look cool, be relevant to the plot, and be super helpful. And honestly, this is perfectly reflected in the results. Kukui seems to have made the biggest impression, considering he looks good, is fun to be around, is constantly relevant, and even your final battle in Sun and Moon. Professor Oak comes in second since he's the OG and appears in multiple generations. It's honestly more surprising that he's second. Sonia has captured the hearts of many even though she isn't the main professor for a majority of the game, but her brains, beauty, and character arc have made her super popular. Sycamore comes in fourth since he's incredibly handsome and charming. He appears here and there, but not enough to make him your favorite professor. Juniper is fifth. Pretty much an amalgamation of what makes other professors popular, but in a less extreme way, considering she doesn't do much. Rowan is considered the average professor, while Laventon and Birch are slightly below average, but not really hated. Elm is pretty unpopular. He's pretty much the opposite of Kukui in every aspect, while Magnolia's minimal role in the story of Sword and Shield and lack of any personality makes her the least popular Pokemon professor. Rivals are far more interesting. You guys said personality is the most important aspect, with character development being a big priority. Design, plot relevance, and battle prowess are actually necessary, while how helpful they are is far from crucial. Whether they are mean or kind is interestingly not essential either. Even more surprising is that while most people prefer jerk rivals, almost the same amount of people enjoy kinder rivals. In fact, fans would not enjoy a rival who was mean but weak, and would very much be fine with a kind but challenging rival. So do these reflect the results? This red line will indicate the average score for rivals. 28%. Let's go in order. Blue is very popular, strong and relevant to the plot, the third most popular rival. Silver is actually the fifth most popular rival, exemplifying the peak of jerk rivals. Gen 3 does a good job with Brendan and May, slightly above average for being kind but still giving us a good fight. Wally is popular for having one of the best arcs and memorable battles, the sixth most popular rival. Barry is an example of the average rival, memorable personality and some kind of arc, not too easy but not difficult to beat. Gen 5 is interesting. Charon and Bianca are slightly below average, since their arcs aren't too extreme, their designs aren't incredibly unique, and their battles are far from challenging, but I think their bigger arcs over both the originals and sequels are satisfying. But Gen 5 makes up for it with N. You'll see N in multiple categories, but most fans also consider him a rival, and the most popular rival to be exact. It makes sense since he's also one of the most popular characters in the entire franchise. We'll have more time to talk about him later. Hugh is relatively average. People either hate him or love him, usually based on whether or not they empathize with his goal and understand his arc. Great design though, and good balance between tough and kind. Gen 6 has the least popular rivals as a whole. Calum and Serena are the bare minimum for a rival. Shauna has a personality but lacks every other aspect, while Tierno and Trevor are the third and second least popular rivals. Gen 7 does a better job, with Hal being as popular as the average rival, and Gladion winning the second spot. He would be the most popular rival if N didn't count. Makes total sense since he's the complete package of all the important criteria you guys voted for. Gen 7 unfortunately claims the least popular rival in existence too, Trace. To me he's decent, but to most he's an insulting replacement for Blue. Gen 8 has a great assortment of rivals. Hop is actually relatively popular with a fan favorite arc. Haters dislike his dialogue and inclusion in most of the plot, while his fans welcome his involvement. But Marnie comes out on top as the 4th most popular rival. The duality between her personality and fantastic design carries her popularity, but some fans don't think it's enough. Clara and Avery are exactly what fans want in jerk rivals, but unfortunately their battles are easy and many fans haven't even played the DLCs, so they're low on the list. Time for antagonists. It pretty much seems everything is important except for an interesting gimmick or character development. When it comes to antagonist leaders, Giovanni is fairly popular, very relevant to the plot, simple yet understandable goal, and magnificent presence. He ranks 3rd. Maxie and Archie are relatively unpopular since fans can't empathize with their plans, but Archie's personality and design makes him way more popular than Maxie. Cyrus is slightly more popular than the average, fans think he's cool and his plan badass, 5th most popular leader. But N is by far the most popular villainous king. He's the most sympathetic with a relatively admirable goal. Chorus is less popular than the average leader, more for the fact that he barely is one. He's still a good character. Ghetsis is the real leader of Team Plasma, and the most cruel and manipulative leader in Pokémon. Lysander is the 2nd least popular leader, considering his team is unpopular and his goals far from sympathetic. Guzma, however, is the 2nd most popular leader. 1st if N doesn't count. What he lacks in ambition, he makes up for in design, personality, and battle prowess. Lusamine is also fairly popular, one of the most 3-dimensional villains. Pierce is popular, but not as a villain. His team is abhorred, but his appearances are favored. Chairman Rose is in fact the least popular leader, considering his goals are the most insignificant and his story is pretty mishandled. But there are way more antagonists that aren't necessarily leaders. The Team Rocket gang is relatively unpopular with minimal personalities and appearances, but Archer is clearly at the top of his team. Team Aqua and Magma members have average popularity. Clearly Shelly is a bit of a fan favorite, as well as Courtney, but Tabitha doesn't have the biggest following. The Team Galactic gang has the most popular admin so far. Mars is fairly popular for her design and personality, but Jupiter and Saturn aren't too far behind. Team Plasma's 7 sages have the most average reception. They barely appear in the game, but are an interesting bunch. The Shadow Triad is much cooler. Literal ninjas, while Chorus is the 4th most popular antagonist when he isn't grouped together with the leaders. He's incredibly interesting, unlike the members of Team Flare. I agree that Zerosic is the coolest of the bunch, but Aliana, Bryony, Celosia, and Mabel are the least memorable and therefore the least popular villains. But Gen 6 is saved by Zinnia, the 2nd most popular antagonist in the franchise, an anti-hero with a cool team and lore to keep. Plumeria is surprisingly popular for her design and loyalty to her team and Guzma, but Faba is slightly unpopular. A stereotypical villain, but still a bit fun. The Misfortune Sisters are not popular at all, but far from the most despised bunch. But to finish it off, Volo has become the most popular antagonist on this list, and only a percentage away from dethroning N from the previous list. A powerful twist villain and the ancestor of one of the biggest contenders in this video. But which villainous team did you enjoy the most? Clearly, Team Plasma's succinct goals, story, and organization made them the clear winners, especially since they get an even cooler glow-up in Black 2. Team Skull is 2nd for having entertaining grunts, fresh designs, and coherent motivations. Team Rocket and Galactic are still popular, with the 2nd least popular team being Flare and the least popular being Team Yell. Gym leaders can be fairly popular, so what makes a good one? Design, personality, and then battle prowess, obviously. Fans don't care if they help, all they want is entertainment. Which Kanto gym leaders were your favorite? Brock, Misty, and Giovanni were way above average, considering they're major characters outside the games, and outside their gym leader role. Sabrina is the most popular of the original gym leaders for her team and lore, with Erica being the least popular of the original gym leaders, but once Janine was introduced, her fleeting role led her to have the lowest score. But when you include Blue, he reigns as the most popular Kanto gym leader. Johto's assortment is less popular. The most popular is Jasmine, considering she is one of the few that does stuff outside of her gym battle, is pretty and has a tough fight. It's pretty much the same reason Claire is 2nd. Morty has a fan-favorite design and is settled in the most popular town in Johto, so he's 3rd, with Whitney's battle putting her in the 4th spot. But Chuck's unappealing design and team makes him Johto's least popular gym leader. Hoenn gym leaders are seen more favorably. Wallace, considering his personality, team, and later championship, is the most popular Hoenn gym leader, with Norman, an important and unique character with a tough team, is closely 2nd. Same with Flannery at 3rd. The rest are relatively popular, with Brawley the least popular of the original 8, and Juan the least popular of all Hoenn gym leaders, considering he only appears in Emerald and does nothing outside of the gym battle, unlike the fairly popular Wallace. Sinnoh gym leaders are a bit less popular. Volkner is a complete outlier, with almost twice the popularity of the average Sinnoh gym leader. He's pretty cool and memorable, while the others are kinda goofy. Byron being the most boring, but very close in popularity to his son Rourke and Maylene. Unova gym leaders are far more popular. By less than a percentage, Elisa beats Iris for the title of the most popular Unova gym leader. Her battle is tough, her personality and design are top-notch, and she contributes to the plot, like most Unova gym leaders. Iris has an edge as the next game's champion, but Drayden comes out third, without any extra advantages. He's simply very popular for all the reasons a character can be popular. Skyla and Roxy come close, with Clay and Charon fairly popular too. The two least popular Unova gym leaders are Bryson and Marlon. Their personalities and designs aren't terrible, but Bryson is fairly silent, making him a bit less popular by 0.2%. Kalos gym leaders aren't as popular, but Karina certainly is. She's one of the few to have a role outside of the gym, and appears many times in the anime. It's kind of the reason Clement is second place. Valerie, Olympia, and Wolfric are mid-tier gym leaders, and Ramos unfortunately gets the boot. One of the most unassuming gym leaders in existence. Trial captains are slightly more popular. Acerola, as a reoccurring character, Elite Four member, and Alolan royalty, is very popular. Mallow, Kiawe, and Lana are more popular than the average, since they are Ash's companions in the anime, but that doesn't really help Sophocles. Ilima is seemingly unpopular despite having a difficult battle in Ultra Sun and Moon, probably because of his ambiguous and relatively normal design. For fun, I asked you guys what your favorite totem Pokemon were, and Mimikyu won, although I assume that's because Mimikyu is really popular on its own. But the trial was also entertaining, and the totem battle wasn't easy. Totem Lurantis and Wishiwashi were third place for being some of the most challenging and memorable battles in the game. I asked if you guys prefer gym battles over totem battles, and only 3.8%, including me, said yeah. I also asked which Kahuna was your favorite, and Nanu won. As the first Dark-type gym leader-esque character with a great personality and story, people became attached to him. Olivia was second because she's incredibly fine. And finally, Galar's gym leaders were polled. The most popular gym leader from any region seems to be Raihan. Makes sense, his battle was fun and he's literally canonically popular, which is a bit baffling since Gordy has a lot of fans in Universe too, but is the least popular gym leader in Galar, by far. Nessa is the second most popular, considering her design is a 10 out of 10 and her story is compelling. Piers is third, and Alistair, Bee, and Kabu are fairly popular too. When you count Marnie, she's the fifth most popular gym leader. When I asked which region had the best gym leaders, Unova reigned supreme. I'm sure the fact that they all actually helped the character out during the climax made them fairly popular. Galar is second, considering you see a lot of them outside of battle, and they seem to have the most popular designs as well. Hoenn is admirably third, with a good balance of memorable gym leaders. Johto, unfortunately, seems to have the least amount of popular gym leaders. Now, the Wardens from Legends Arceus have very extreme receptions. Some are way more popular than others. In fact, Ingo is the most popular character I polled so far. 80% of you thought everything about him was amazing. I can see why. His story is incredibly compelling, one of the most well-received characters in the franchise. Arezu is second. A lot of us were smitten by her, Paulina, and Mai, a great cast of female characters. Now, as it should be, Melly is the least popular. Play the game and you'll know why. And for fun, I asked you guys which Noble fight was your favorite, and Arcanine clearly won. The fight itself was challenging, and the actual Noble's story was by far the most compelling. Elite Four time, baby! The Kanto Elite Four was polled, and Lance was in overwhelming first place. Dragons do be tough to beat. Lorelei is next, then Agatha, with Bruno last, considering he's kind of the least interesting member. He does a bit better in Johto. This time, Karen is clearly the winner, with fans loving how Koga was promoted to Elite Four. Bruno is far less popular, but beats Will by 1%. Drake is the favorite in Hoenn, because everything about him is cool. Phoebe is next, with Sydney, and finally Glacia last. Sinnoh's Elite Four results are less extreme. While Flint is clearly the most popular, Lucian's team keeps him relatively afloat. Bertha isn't far from him, and Aaron was obviously last, but not in an embarrassing way. In Unova, Grimsley is the fan favorite, with Caitlyn's glow-up making her second. Chantal isn't too unpopular, but Marshall is clearly last. The most even Elite Four results go to Kalos. This is more due to the fact that they are all equally showcased, because you can battle them in any order, and there isn't one that stands out too much. Malva is first due to her ties to Team Flare, and the fact that she's hot. But Drasna and Seabold are literally 0.1% away from each other, and Wickstrom is last by a tiny bit. Acerola leads Alola, with Olivia not too far behind. Kahili is surprisingly third, with Hala fourth, and Molayne last as a new addition to the group. When I asked you guys which region has the best Elite Four, Unova still came out on top. I guess the personality and designs of these four made them super memorable, especially since half of them show up in previous and later generations. They're also pretty strong. That's the reason Sinnoh was second, despite having the worst designs. They are, in my opinion, the strongest Elite Four. Alola is next, then Hoenn, followed closely by Kanto. Kalos is second to last, but the least impressive Elite Four seems to be Johto's. Now let's have a champion time. What do y'all want in a champion? Personality, battle prowess, design, and plot relevance. Pretty obvious. It really seems like you guys preferred if a champion were part of the plot, or at the very least showed up before the Elite Four. Now, which champion is your favorite? What a surprise, it's Cynthia. There are other future and previous champions in the franchise, but this poll is only for those with a Pokemon Champion League battle. And goddamn does Cynthia have the best champion battle in BDSP. Steven, my personal favorite champion, was second, a very unique team with a good amount of role in the plot. Leon was third, the embodiment of a champion, very good showing. Iris is fourth with an admirable glow-up. Fifth is Blue. Lance is popular when placed with the Elite Four, but as a champion, he's pretty much as popular as Diantha and Alder. Now, Wallace seems to be last, but he's actually second to last, cause Trace got so few votes that his sliver isn't even visible. Only 6 out of almost 4,000 people voted for this guy. Trace has 0.2% of the vote. What about battle facility leaders? Some of the Hoenn Battle Frontier brains are popular. Lucy is on top, with Annabelle second on account of her appearance in Gen 7, and perhaps the anime. Brandon is a super close third for his anime appearance, memorable team, and decently challenging facility. Greta seems to be the least popular facility leader in the franchise though. The Sinnoh Frontier brains are next, with Palmer, the Tower Tycoon, and Barry's father as the most popular Frontier brain. Not much love for Argenta though. But then we get to Unova, and Emmett and Ingo are by far the most popular facility bosses. Benga is slightly more popular than the average facility leader, and finally the Chatelaines are here too. Considering blue is the most popular color, Evelyn wins. I'm more of a Morgan guy though. And now it's time for all the NPCs that have no particular category. Some of these are actually really important characters that I didn't cover yet, so pay attention. The average score is 23.8%. Bill and Mr. Fuji are slightly more popular than the average NPC. Eugene isn't though, a shame. Mr. Briny is still in the competition, but Scott ain't. In fact, Arun is the least popular NPC here. Lycia is also not too popular. In Gen 4, neither is Buck, but Cheryl is. Looker is actually really popular. He's second place in this category. Riley is also popular, while Marley and Mira aren't. The Gen 5 NPCs don't fare any better. They're pretty much way less popular than the other Gen 5 characters. Curtis and Yancy being super optional characters, but beloved by those who engage with them. In Gen 6, Alexa doesn't fare well, but AZ definitely does, the 5th most popular human character in this category. He deserves it after all these years. Bonnie is slightly below average, while Emma doesn't do well too. Gherkin gets the second least popular spot. Dexio and Cinna aren't too unpopular, but Gen 7 does amazingly with these other NPCs. Lily is the most popular character here. Makes total sense. Nebby ain't too far behind. Wick does an average job, while Burnett is actually fairly popular. Moan isn't, because he doesn't really do anything. The Ultra Recon Squad and Samson Oak get average scores, while Ryuki doesn't. Gen 8 does a fine job as well. Ball Guy is the 3rd most popular human character here. I mean, who doesn't like Ball Guy? Caralis is not popular, while Swordward and Shieldbert do a bit worse. Together, they're the 5th least popular here. Still more votes than Trace. Mustard is popular. Honey does an average job. Peony is beloved, while Calyrex does okay too. But Legends has the most popular uncategorized characters. Adaman is the 4th most popular human character here, with Irida only 2 spots away. Silene and Kamado also do an above average job, as well as Kogita. Benny and Zisu aren't too popular though. Now before I reveal the most popular characters in one poll, when I straight up asked which region has the best characters, you guys said Unova. Seems consistent with the results. Hisui was 2nd, with Alola 3rd and Galar 4th. Kinda seems like the most recent generations have given us better characters than the first 3, with once again Johto last and Kanto second to last. But which regions had the best character designs? Galar was the clear winner. Hisui was next, with Unova 3rd and Alola 4th. Once again, Johto is dead last. But when I took the most popular characters of each category and asked you guys to pick your favorites among the best the franchise had to offer, which characters came out on top? Here is the top 25. But first, honorable mention goes to Emmett at the 26th spot. Number 25 is Jasmine. 24 is Wallace. Number 23, Volkner. Number 22, Sabrina. Number 21, Lance. Number 20, Acerola. Number 19 is Elisa. Number 18, Iris. Number 17, Giovanni. Number 16, Looker. Number 15, Raihan. Number 14 is Lusamine. Number 13 is Nessa. Number 12, surprisingly, is Ingo. Number 11 is Blue. Now scratching the top 10 is Sonia. Good for her. Number 9 is Marnie. Number 8 is Volo. Number 7, Professor Oak. He's still got it. Number 6, Lily. And number 5, is her brother Gladion. Number 4 is Kukui. Number 3, Guzma. Who is gonna be number 2? N. Which means the most popular character is Cynthia! Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. The toughest battle in recent memory, one of the best designs, a good role and personality in the game, and I used to think she was overrated, but Pokemon has made her even more relevant in the past few years than any other character. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter to know when the next poll comes out. Make sure to check out the previous poll videos on the starters and legendary Pokemon if you haven't. Consider becoming a patron or clicking the join button to get cool rewards like seeing videos days early and a huge discount on the t-shirts I made for you guys. My social media links are there too, and I'll see you guys next week for a video you've all been waiting for.